Okay, Inferno Towers. First concept I want to go over. Hope this doesn't offend anyone. I'm not trying to lecture anyone or say you guys don't already know this, because most of you probably do know this. But I just want to make sure everyone understands Inferno Towers and how they work. Because if you don't understand them, they're going to bend you over and rape you every single time. If you do understand them, you can skate by without getting raped and kind of get like either the 2-star or maybe exploit the base for possibly 3 stars. It's really hard and very rare to do, but it's only possible if you actually understand how they work and how the relationship between them, spells, and the other troops. The first thing I want to show off is that when I say that you can't out-heal an Inferno Tower, I actually mean that the heal spell does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Quote unquote on some other different page, the Inferno Tower burns too hot for the heal spell to work. Healing effects get blocked by extreme heats. So if a single beam of a multi-targeting Inferno Tower is touching the hog, that hog cannot be healed, which means every point defense that's hitting it is just blowing it away. So that's the first effect I wanted to cover. And it's the same with healers. Healers cannot heal a troop that's being hit by an Inferno Tower, single or multi. So this game works in extremes. Single targeting Infernos are extremely good against high hit point, high housing space troops, such as P.E.K.K.A., dragons, golems. Those troops are slow, also heroes. Those troops are slow, do a high amount of damage, and once they die, a ton of DPS dies with it. The single targeting Inferno will hit it for a low amount of damage. After a couple of seconds, it builds up to a medium amount of damage. Then a couple seconds later, it builds up to a high amount of damage, and the troop disappears. This whole process takes 6 seconds-ish. So basically what happens is if you're going to go up against single targeting Infernos, they are going to destroy one of your high hit point troops, like a golem or a P.E.K.K.A. or a hero, in 6 seconds. And normally those troops last anywhere from 10 to 20 to the entire raid, depending on how it goes. So really, if there's single targeting Infernos, you do not bring high housing space troops, or you keep your high housing space troops away from them. Yeah, you can use free spells when single targeting Infernos are at the middle of their build-up, like when they're doing around like a couple hundred DPS. That's when you use the free spell, and it'll reset them. And in that way, they'll kill one every 12 seconds instead of every 6 seconds. Well, even longer than that, because the free spell takes a while to wear off, anywhere from 4 to 8 seconds. Most of you guys don't have free spells, so that's not even an option. Yeah, single targeting Infernos, however, are they don't really do anything to swarm troops, like the skeletons of witches, like barbarians, like hogs, loons. Inferno Towers are very good at taking out lava hounds. It's very hard without free spells to balloon single targeting Infernos. Single targeting Infernos do suck against hogs and loons, though, because the single targeting Inferno, it's going to take like 6 or 7 seconds for it to kill a hog, but that's not very. It's nothing really. It's just another defense. It's another point defense. It doesn't. The 1 or 2 hogs, 3 hogs isn't much in the big scheme of things. So yeah, anytime you see single targeting Infernos, that means there is a possibility to exploit them for 3 stars using hogs and loons. Valkyries are kind of like a middle ground. They're not like super high housing space. They're not super low housing space. They kind of do okay against single targeting and multi-targeting. They don't excel against either of them, though. They're just kind of like a best viable option, so to speak. So now on the multi-targeting Infernos, which is the devil to anything that's low housing space. What I mean by low housing space is giants, hogs, barbarians, witches, wizards, loons. All those things, you don't go against multi-targeting Infernos with those troops because they're going to die very, very fast. You can't heal them, and once one of those low housing space troops dies, its DPS goes with it. So it's not like the tanky troops, like a P.E.K.K.A. A multi-targeting Inferno can be smacking on a P.E.K.K.A. forever. The P.E.K.K.A. is still going to be doing tons and tons of DPS every swing. Inferno Towers, if they take out 5 hogs in 5 seconds, you just lost like 600 DPS of your army. And multi-targeting Inferno Towers do that. You can't block them with golems. There's 5 beams, so it's just going to shoot right past the golems. It's going to hit the wizards. It's going to hit the witches. It's going to hit the hogs, and it's going to shred them. It's going to wreck them. They have tons of hit points, so hogs struggle to get through them before they die. Hogs don't even have 500 hit points, so Inferno Towers, yeah, it drives me nuts. But that's the way it is. You have to understand how multi-targeting Inferno Towers work and what they work against. They work against squishy troops. They don't work against the high hit point troops. The same amount of damage is being done to each, but against the squishy troops, you're losing the DPS very quickly. Whereas against the you're losing your offensive DPS very quickly, whereas against the high hit point troops, you don't. I saw a lot of attacks, and there was one attack where I was working with Kenny, and I wanted to rage the hogs into the Inferno Towers because I hoped that under rage the hogs would be able to get to the Inferno Towers quickly. Theoretically, it sort of worked, but it didn't really. Kenny executed it perfectly. It was kind of just a lesson learned. Just don't screw with hogs and multi-targeting Infernos until you have your spells. So that's kind of what I've learned. You have to, as a Town Hall 9 attacking a Town Hall 10, because you don't have free spells, you have to base your entire attack off of what the Inferno Towers are set to. And those are your options. If it's a single targeting Inferno, you're looking at hogs and loons and Valkyries and giants. No golems, no P.E.K.K.A. Keep your heroes away from those single targeting Infernos. That's what you have to work with. Against multi-targeting Infernos, you're looking at golems or P.E.K.K.A. and maybe Valkyries and your heroes. You keep your witches away from the multi-targeting Infernos. You keep your wizards away. Anything that strays too close to them is pretty much it's toast. It's gonna blow up and dead. So, yep, that's my rant. Hopefully it helps.